I'll even jump on this topic here where there's so much to dive into. So, something for me that has been humbling, level of empathy to be able to tap into, where it's understanding the backgrounds of one's home environment. I mean, you can look at, kids and put a label like ghetto, right? And all of these different norms that we focus on, but talking about black. And even further deeper when we could talk about just different behavior that we all know about, where it's just like, damn, like let's mold and shape ourselves in different environments. And then you have some people who are meant and designed to be in certain environments, where that's your warrior class. And then you put them into these fields, education, to be able to learn, like, how can we make that crossover for street smart and academia smart, right? And then you put those mixes together. Amongst that, it's allowed me to actually do the flip, where I come from. I ain't street, I'm not street. And then I learned from me to actually understand street, listen to just our people. That comes from a level where there's always a hyper surveillance, constantly monitoring. We even associate different words, or we look at it as like a class. And really breaking through that, to be honest with you, made me hella uncomfortable. I put myself in situations where, one thing that you can look at is like recreational, but then you actually see just the human aspect, the life behind it. And people want to be recognized. People want to be respected and seen. And just the presence of just being listening ear for it is so powerful. And then now you bring the mix and the matches where a lot of us have started from these environments. It's not where we want to end up at, let alone spend majority of our time at, but we're ready for something different. And this comes in all phases, all stages, where you can have the, suburban life, or the ideal life that people are striving for when we say generational wealth, or generational wealth, but really know what that looks like and taking that to the next level and applying it to our lives, where there's this big imagery. And at first I used to always look at it in the manner, judging, and see it from a standpoint of, like, why do you need that to help you? Like, just have it for yourself. But when you have that picture, that component of what's within, but you need something to help bring it out, and it inspires you. For example, yesterday was the Super Bowl, and it is a good, attachment to look at two Super Bowl quarterbacks, both coming from what it is I'm talking about. You actually can say a black household, and just to see the development where you have a Super Bowl winning quarterback, where there's this fixation of black quarterbacks aren't smart, and there's always this level of viewing, whereas one had add in how they were to process information and all this other stuff. And you get a Jalen Hurts who wins, and you see just the appearance of that, of one who's, attractive. You want to support him. You're looking at just the leadership standpoint of how you also lead men, and you do it at the highest level, at the NFL level, which is just phenomenal. But a lot of people are tuned into, I'm happy he has a black wife. And I'm happy that we're able to see ourselves in a great image. And it took me a minute, especially to understand just the imagery, because we're so conditioned to just seeing the bad, so conditioned to just seeing the worst. But when you're able to see good and you apply that and you want good even for yourselves, where these different movements and moments have those attachments where there's a applied level of responsibility or pressure that people just anoint or assert. Sometimes you can feed into it where, it strokes the ego, and then sometimes you see a bigger picture to that where this is real life. Like, people are going to be impacted by generations of this. And it takes another level of looking at one's own privileges to see it at a landscape that some people just can't relate to until you have to experience it, or until you realize, hey, this is what your parents, grandparents have went through to make sure you don't have this life, to be able to endure and experience. And it takes you to a level where you're able to reach people, which is where we all are at this moment, where we see so many people are so fixated over greed. Schools are focused on business models rather than a simple fix of, if we want a better solution, a better country, you invest into the education and development of the minds who are making solutions and making the world a better place. It's just something we know. But some people use that as a plight, where it's smoke screens. And it's a moment where we don't need that anymore. It's a time where we're all able to see truth and want better, to be better, and aspire for it. And most importantly, it starts within ourselves to believe that, have our own confidence to contribute to it. So it's humbling. It's thoughtful. It is rewarding where people could associate an attachment to have that be something that is uplifting, something that is inspirable, something to say I want to have, something that's more ideal of a man that's on his purpose, a woman that's on his purpose, and how they come together and support. People are able to share the spotlight, or if one doesn't want it, it's okay. We don't have to force things, but I'm curious to see different insights of how not a level of work that we're able to do to reach people and not take advantage takes things to greater heights, and better pastures.
You all right, Mr. Jackson?
Yes, sir. How about you?
I'm doing good. Just checking. You told me to check in.
I love it. Yeah. I love it, man.